Love the champion.
How's it going, Nicole, we're good. For you, sure.
And all of that.
Excuse me, Theo.
Yeah.
Rebar, because I like it, not seeing it. It's kind of I don't know what I did.
Gregory? Greg,
Give me some.
I want to say hi to Greg.
Excuse me, you guys are blocking our remote viewers.
Bobby, Thaddeus is a bully.
Hey, dude. Denigrate my character in front of the world.
No, they're not. It's actually one time they try. Get out of here.
Oh, one time. Y'all caught that deal?
We have our own local Wi-Fi.
Get out of here.
Please connect to our own local Wi-Fi. Our own local Wi-Fi. For everybody.
How would you get that out?
Just for everybody.
Slow down. I wouldn't get it out.
Good. We like to capture these moments for family and
How are you? Good.
She wanted to be much good basketball practice. I'm not sure it's right with you guys, so where's Greg at? Greg?
It's at 94%.
Oh, there. How long? Am I going to be in the way?
Yeah, it's 94%. Will it run out, or can we put it in the front seat so that way it's a nice? Is that okay? Okay. I'll take my spot. That works. It works perfectly.
Anybody got another extra pen?
Does everybody have a notebook and does everybody have a pen? And if you don't, just raise your hands. Wow, okay, great, awesome. So Jan, are you ready or should I wait a few more minutes?
We are ready.
Okay. Like ready? Okay, great. So welcome everybody, my name is Monika Zanda. For those of you who don't know me, please raise your hand. Okay, great. So let me share with you a little bit about who I am and welcome you here. So let's give a big round of applause for everybody here. If you don't already know, you're in a place, a community, a family where there's a lot of acknowledgement and a lot of no particular reason to celebrate, but lots of celebration anyway. And then lots of reasons to celebrate as well. And part of what this is going to be tonight is something for you to potentially look at for yourself and have something to celebrate afterwards. And I'll get into that in just a minute. So I'm going to start with a little bit of my intentions. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am. I'm going to then invite a few people that have actually participated in the Next Level program, which you'll learn about. And then we'll have an opportunity at the end for you to register. And the programs that we're talking about are programs that I designed and collaborated with Mark and Jill Addy, along with several of the leadership body on our team, to really cultivate and create our team and bring them together and become like a glue for all of the different teams across the country and across the globe. Because we're a global company, we're growing very big and we're growing very fast, and sometimes we can lose sight of what are the fundamentals that really bind our team and create the culture and the momentum that we all have together. You guys have a very beautiful opportunity because the people that are mentoring you have really seen and grown through that vision and have really given a lot of their heart poured into you, all of this information that they've gotten, but also their passion for making a difference on the planet. So I want to start by saying thank you to Style, and to Denise, and to Celeste, and to Tan, and to the leadership body, to Jason, and to all the leaders that agreed to allowing me to come here, Nicole, to really have this be an opportunity for you guys. So my intention is that you will walk out of here with something that you didn't have when you walked in. So you'll know a little bit more about me, that's one thing. So you've already gotten a little bit of that. You'll learn something about you in either the way that you look at the world, and maybe it will be the same when you walk out, or maybe it will be just a little bit different. And whether it's the same or whether it's different isn't really important. What's important is that you're open to hearing from whatever perspective you haven't been willing to listen from in the past. And it takes something to not come in through a doorway and think that you are going to listen like you always have. Because we are creatures of habit, for the most part, and we tend to listen to things the way we've been trained to always listen. So maybe you've had a really great day. So you walked in through that door and you're going to be listening for what's great, what's available, what would a course like this offer me, what is some valuable information that I'm going to walk out of here with. Maybe you hit a lot of traffic coming here. And so your experience is, I'm feeling rushed, I'm feeling like I had to find my way here, I felt like there was a lot to think about, I was distracted, and so you come into the doorway and you sit and you're experiencing arriving. Well, through whatever lens that you're looking at, that will shape the experience that you have. And so what I'm going to ask you to do, and what my intention is that no matter what you walked in with, that you leave that on the other side of the door, and it will be there for you waiting when you walk back out the door, should you choose to take it back on. And if not, to consider, before you leave here tonight and share with one other person, what did you get? What value was available for you? What one thing did you hear differently than you've ever heard it before? And if you walked out of here learning that and sharing it, the lesson grows just a little bit deeper. Because when we learn something and we don't share it, it just becomes a bunch of information in our brain. But when you learn something and you share it, it begins to become a usable piece of information. And a usable piece of information begins to have impact. And the goal of the next level is that it takes your life, your business, and whatever area you want to the next level by having impact in ways, in areas that you've never had impact, or that you've never been willing to allow things to impact you. Because at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's your choice to have shown up. It's your choice how you walk through the door. It's your choice what lens you're going to actually listen and experience this evening through. And it's a relatively quick evening. Usually I have about 2.5 hours, but because we have a team call after this at 8 o'clock, for many of you that will be on it and with your teams across the country, what we really like to do is, I'm really about punctuality. So there's going to be, very specific things that I'm teaching you, and I'll be as concise as I can, but with a depth for you to walk away with some value. Does that sound good for you?
Yes.
Awesome. So to start with, who's gotten a little bit of value already? Who's heard something in a way that they haven't heard it before? Walter, you've had your hand up. So if you don't mind, if you can stand up, just share your name so that the people that are, the screen went dark, so I'm pretty sure it's fine, but just to make sure, I want to acknowledge all of the people that are out there in the ether. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope that you get a bunch of value here too. And whatever question I'm asking the room, please know that it's your opportunity to take notes and have those questions for yourself as well. So let's give a round of applause for all the people that are not here. Thank you for being here. Awesome. So Walter.
I'm Walter.
Do you mind, Jared, yes?
Trey.
Trey, do you mind turning that so that they can see Walter and it's not just a voice singing? Janet? Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, how's everybody doing? Good. Good, this is great. So something so far that I've gotten was my mindset walking in here. It's 6 p.m. for us, and we've had a long day, a lot of different emotions throughout the day, a lot of different feelings, especially for myself. But you said, what I heard was leave it at the door no matter how you felt coming in. I came in very excited, but then I thought about it. Have I been excited all day? I haven't. Earlier this morning, I wasn't feeling that great. During the workout, I was very confused. I had a lot of things going on. So there's a lot of different emotions that I've had throughout the day, and my thought was, leave them all out there. As soon as you said it was, don't bring anything in. Come in blank slate, blank everything, and start fresh right now. So that's what I picked up so far.
So one of the other intentions is for you guys to understand, because I'm here, I'm gonna make an assumption. And I want to let you in on the secret of this assumption so that you're not surprised when I do what I do. So I have this way of hearing what people are saying and hearing what people are not saying. And so sometimes what I'd like to ask your permission of tonight is if I hear something that you're not saying that I think would be valuable for the room, that I have your permission to share what I heard in the room. And you don't have to agree with me, but I'm going to just share what I experience. And it might be that I ask you to stand up and I may give you a little bit of coaching or a little bit of feedback or a little bit of questioning. Do I have your permission to do that?
Yes.
Awesome. Does anybody not feel comfortable with that so that I know not to call on you? Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you. I love full participation. Give yourself a hand. Woo! Okay, good. So, what I love about what you said, Walter, is you have the choice to leave it at the door. So for those of you who are where Walter is right now, where you just reflected on what I said and you're going to make the effort to leave things at the door, raise your hand for just a minute. For those of you who have no idea what that actually means, keep your hands up. Okay, good. Thank you for being brave. I appreciate that. What's your name?
Jack.
Okay, what's...
Can you stand up?
Yeah, please. Jack?
Yes, Jack.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you, Jack. So, Jack, here's what's really interesting about this. So you walked in a little bit late, so I'm going to just update you. Walter just shared with us, I made a point that we walk into situations very often, and we have everything that happened from the moment that we walk to the door. And then we can walk through the doorway, and we can either bring all the experiences we had leading up to that moment, or we can leave them there so that we have an opportunity to be, what Walter said, a blank slate. Okay? But the very point of being a blank slate doesn't necessarily mean that you know how, or that when you're a blank slate, you're actually a blank slate. Sometimes we say we want to do that, but we don't fully do that, and we catch ourselves in a moment of a conversation getting triggered by something that someone said. That's your indicator that there was something else you didn't leave at the door, and you can at that moment leave it at the door. And you can just identify, oh my gosh, I heard that. That reminds me of someone that was speaking to me yesterday, and I'm going to leave that at the door. Like I said, it will be there if you want it to be there when you walk out the door. Does that make it a little clearer? Okay, great. Thank you. Let's give Jack. So the other thing is that I tend to like to use every opportunity for a learning opportunity. I'm looking for places where people share something that benefits the whole. And one of those things that I've noticed already tonight is we love to recognize people. And how often have you ever recognized someone and you find yourself not paying attention and all of a sudden you start clapping a little bit late? And you're like, whoops. So one of the things that is the most scary thing, if you've ever learned about speaking in public, is to stand in front of a room of people, in particular people that you know. Usually people think it's strangers, but in particular in front of people that you know, and deliver from your heart. A lot of people think they have to deliver a certain speech or a certain way. You're going to get from me authenticity. You're going to get from me, I don't always know the direction that I'm going in. I love to take the conversation wherever it's meant to go. What that does is it offers an opportunity to not be rigid about the way that the learning goes tonight. So I have an agenda of what I'm going to talk to you about, but we may erase the agenda if we get into a really beautiful or interesting conversation. So I just want you to know that whatever polished I look, however I look up here to you, I want you to imagine you up here. And I wanted to start this by having you say to yourself, when I stand in front of the room, what's my message? What do I want people to walk away with? What am I here, uniquely designed and put on this planet to deliver? It could be how to ride a bike. It could be how to write a creative essay. It could be that you're really good at using technology. It could be the things that you are most gifted at, because you are not, the way you know it is specific and unique to you. And if you take for granted the things that come the easiest to you, you step over the gift that you are uniquely designed to give. So tonight, you're going to have an opportunity, and I'm going to constantly be challenging you with thought-provoking questions. And part of what the next level is about challenging you to be your greatness. Challenging you to step above and beyond what you've agreed to unconsciously. Someone told you at some point in your life something you didn't agree with, but maybe you didn't know that you could disagree. And so you took it on as feedback that was truth. And the truth is, it was just their opinion. It was just their opinion when they shared something, but you didn't know, you didn't have to buy into it. So I'm giving you permission to consider there have been a lot of things in your life you've been told, some of which you've agreed with and you've taken on, and it's really catapulted you into the world. And some of which you've disagreed with, but didn't know that you had permission to disagree. And I'm looking for the parts of you that you have compromised, put aside, hidden, the gifts that you have to give, so that you can be the full expression of the gift that you are here. Okay? So tonight, I'm going to ask a few of you to share a little bit about what your gift may be. So be considering it. As I'm talking, just be thinking about it. Okay? What I'm also going to do, as I mentioned, is I'm going to have a few people come up and they're going to share their experience. We have a bunch of people in the room that have participated in the next level before. I'm going to share with you a little bit about how the next level came to be, and I'm going to share a little bit about my story. Because what a person looks like on the outside doesn't always indicate the journey that they've been on to get here. So I want you to have a little sneak peek into the journey that I've had, because it hasn't been roses. And because of that, I've learned how to be with people. I've learned how to see people. I've learned how to listen to people. I've learned how to hear people. And each of these things are very distinct skills. They're very distinct muscles to cultivate, to grow, to appreciate when you have them, and to acknowledge when you don't yet. When there's something missing that you still need to grow and cultivate. And so often we criticize ourselves, we chastise ourselves, and we judge ourselves and others for the things that we are not good at. And we don't celebrate the things that come naturally to us because we take them for granted. And then we wonder why life sometimes is hard or challenging or confusing, or why we feel like we keep hitting the same limit or the same ceiling of accomplishment. Has anyone ever had that experience? Mm-hmm. Great. So in the next level programs, you have an opportunity to start looking at some of the ceilings that either were put there for you by people that gave you their opinions and you believe them, or ceilings that you put there yourself and didn't even realize you were doing it, simply because you bought into a judgment or a self-criticism and you thought it was the truth. The biggest thing is that you're going to have choice. When you come out of the next level, if you feel like your life is full of not a lot of choices, you're going to have choice. When you get introduced to Herbalife, if you felt like your life wasn't about a lot of choices, you begin to see how many choices you have. And so long as you recognize that life is about the choices that you make and that there are always new choices to be made, life will never have you, you will have life. Life won't have you, you will have life. So, my intention is that you leave here with value. My intention is that you know a little bit more about me. My intention is that I know a little bit more about you. And my intention is that you see access to whether or not the next level program, now or in the future, is something that will really catapult you to the next level. In whatever area it is, or all the areas that it should be. Let me start by saying that the next level has different levels. There's next level 1, which is the beginning. There's next level 2, which is a next step in leadership and development and communication skills. We do some presentation work as well. How do you stand in front of a room? How do you be comfortable? How do you land inside of your body? How, when you get nervous, do you acknowledge it in front of the room so that people don't judge your hands shaking or you feeling funny? Because authenticity is at the core of everything that we do. And when people trust you, you could fall on the floor, you could spill water on your blouse, you could do all sorts of funny things, but when they trust you, they'll cheer for you and love you no matter what. And that will give you the confidence to know that what your message is and the gift you have to deliver will be received. It won't be blocked by your judgment, your fear, and your concern about what they see. So I'm here to show you who I am. Not for me to teach you about me, but for me to teach you about you. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, good. Any questions so far? Okay. I'd like to hear from 3 people. What have you learned so far? Marquise, you're number 1. You in the blue sweatshirt, number 2, and you in the white shirt right here, number 3. If you don't mind standing up, each of you. Woo! So remember, you agreed that I could call on you and that I could coach you, right? So here it begins. So what's one thing that you've learned so far?
To be honest, I just remember learning about choices and the different choices we do make. And let's see, pretty much.
That's great. That's enough.
Yes.
And who here would like to have more freedom making the choices that they'd like to make?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Great. What's your name?
My name is Latanya.
Latanya, welcome.
And I just knew you were going to call on me when I sat down. I was like, she's asking that question for a reason. But anyway, what I did realize is that my being here was a refreshment course on being true to yourself. So I think that's what my gift is, and I think that's why I'm interested. But not to say that anything you said is not new, but maybe for some of us who are older, it's just a refreshment course.
Excellent. Yes. To that point. So nothing that you're going to hear tonight is new. Everything that I've ever learned has been in the world, in the globe. I've borrowed it, I've understood it, I've processed it, but the way you're going to hear it is new. The way you're going to hear it is new because you've never been the person that you are sitting in the chair tonight the way you are with the circumstances that you've had until right now. And if you choose to show up in the chair that way, the value will be exponential. So I actually invite you to consider it's not a refresher because the woman that you've ever heard this as is not the woman sitting in the chair tonight.
I agree.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll call you to take that on. That's great. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Cameron,
Cameron. Welcome, Cameron.
I learned that I just know that I was meant to come here tonight, and that from you I'm going to learn how to better public speak and wrap it back to authenticity when I'm talking about whatever.
Okay, great. So we're going to start with that right now. Put your book down, put your pen down. Come up here with me, please. Okay. So you guys, I want you to see something. I want you to see his posture, how he's standing, what he's doing with his hands right now, what he did when he was walking up here. Are you guys paying attention?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. So if you weren't paying attention, pay attention to that you weren't paying attention. Because life happens really quick, and the things that we need to learn to be able to be the speaker we want to be able to make the difference we want to make, happens from a person stepping out of their seat and walking up here. That was all the information I needed as to what I would do with him to help him be a better speaker. That's all I needed. Now, I'm highly trained in what's called neuro-linguistic programming, and inside of neuro-linguistic programming, you are trained to read people's facial expressions, the color of their skin, their body positioning, everything. You'll notice that I stand on my left foot a lot. That is not in balance, that's not good, but what it does is it gives me access to you because you don't think that I'm so strong. But eventually, by the end of the night, you will see that I'm standing on both of my feet. It's intentional. And everything that I do when I'm doing a presentation has intention, except for the part where I'm sharing my authenticity, and then it's just a free form. But it's still an intentional free form. Because every time I speak from my heart and I speak from love. Because on this planet, if you want to heal anything, it's got to come from a place of love. Cameron, hi. So the other thing that you guys are going to learn is that when I'm with someone up here, they are the only thing on the planet. They're the most important thing, and they are the only thing. You got that? Okay, great. So stand with me right now and pretend that that is not here. You are with me right now. So one of the things that I want you to notice is where your head is. Okay? You tend to stand like this. If I was going to punch you, that would give you a really good way to step away from me, right? Go ahead. Right. But if I feel like you're like this, then I feel like you're trying to avoid something that I might do to you. And the first thing about public speaking is you want to invite people to you. You don't want them to feel like you are trying to get away from them. Because if I'm trying to get away from them, then I might as well step to the people in the back. Right? Because if they can't see me, then I don't have to worry about what they might do to me. Okay? So the first thing is I want you to tilt your head all the way down. Okay? Now, stand in the room, keep your head down, look at the people. Now notice what that does for you. Where do you go the minute you put your head down like that? That's right, you go right inside. So you're not worried about their judgments, their evaluations, what's going on. You don't worry about any of that. You're right here inside of yourself. So when you get into front of a people and you're nervous, because when I saw you stand up, I saw you start having the facial coloring and all that stuff. So when you get a little nervous, the first thing you want to do is just get right inside. And just know you have all the answers right there. And anything you want to say with anybody is going to hit the people that need to hear it. And everybody else that doesn't need to hear it doesn't matter when you talk. It just doesn't matter, because I'm not talking to the people that don't need to hear what I have to say. I'm talking to the people who are here in the room that want to hear what I'm having to say, because it will make a difference for them. Right? Yes. It will make a difference for you if you want to hear what I'm saying. And if it doesn't matter for you, perfect, then it'll be a refresher course and you won't need anything that I say. And you'll just let it go. And I'm not saying that to you because you said anything wrong.
I didn't take
Okay, perfect. You said something very important, so I want to make sure that people really get it. Thank you. Okay? So that's the first step. The first step to public speaking is to know how to get back to you. And I kid you not, if you are with a group of people, I want you to look at Tan. You know who Tan is? Have you ever met Tan before? Okay, Tan, this is Cameron, Tan. Now, imagine that Tan is your best friend. I want you to look at her like you would look at your best friend. Wait, look! You guys, instantly his body changed. Okay, are you friends with Cameron?
Yeah.
What's your name?
My name is Jordan.
Jordan, come out here for a second, please. So stand here for a second. Put your head down. Jordan, come over here. Stand where I was standing. Face him. Okay, great. Take your hands out of your pocket. Good. And now look at Jordan. Watch what happens. Okay, do it again. You come on this side. You go on that side, so this room on this side of the room can see it. Keep your head down. Keep looking down. Connect with inside. You don't have to do that. You can keep looking at him because he'll make you laugh. Okay, go ahead. Look at Jordan. Now really look at Jordan. Look at Jordan, your friend. Look at Jordan that you do things with. Look at Jordan who's got your back. Look at Jordan. You see who he is? Do you see who he is?
Yeah.
This is what we need to do here.
Yeah.
This is what makes a difference for you guys out here. If I come to present something to you, turn around now. If I come to present something to you, and my agenda is to tell you something you don't know, I'm going to lose you in the first 2 minutes. Because I don't know what you already know. And I'm not here to make any assumptions that you know something I don't, or that I know something you don't. I have as much to learn from every person in this room as you have to learn from me. And as long as I see the greatness in you, I have access to me and the greatness I am, and you can see it too. Good job. Give them a round of applause. So a couple of things about me. So, yes, Jack. Stand up, please. Yep. Good. So have you ever heard of it's called NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming.
Is that like a branch of psychology, or did psychology branch out of that?
Yes, it's its own branch. And it started back in England, and it's the study of neurology and language patterning. So the way we speak and the way we think, consciously and unconsciously, impacts how the world receives everything that we interact with. And it also impacts how we receive the world. So I have a master certification in that training. And if you're interested in it, I can tell you some really good books to read about it. Okay, good. Great. So I'm going to give you a title of a book, write it down. It's called Demystifying, this is a good word, Demystifying NLP. T-I-F-Y-I-N-G. Sorry, Jason, I know I messed up your writing. You're going to be okay. Did you get that, Yanni? Okay. Demystifying NLP, the letters, NLP. And I'll make sure to get Celeste, the author of the book, because I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, I know you have it. So yeah, if you can post the picture of it, because it's not in print anymore, so you have to search for it online.
Right.
Okay?
Yep. I'll post it for everybody.
Yeah, so when you get it online, if you want to get it, it's not that expensive, but you have to always get it at used books. So just look for it online with used bookstores. Okay, good. So I have a master's also. Jack, are you paying attention? Okay, good, perfect. I also have a master's in spiritual psychology. What's that, you ask? I'm so glad you asked, Jack. So spiritual psychology is really the study of how do we interact on a spiritual level on this planet. And it's a really big topic. It's not a religious study, but it's the study of, if you were to call God or the universe or spirit love, then in spiritual psychology, healing is the application, write this down, healing is the application of loving to the parts inside that hurt. Healing is the application of loving to the parts inside that hurt. And one of the primary principles or philosophies of my studies is that we all reside in a space of loving. Hey Josh, you can come on in here now. You don't have to sit out there. I love the football glance view. It's like awesome, but you can come in the room now. Thank you. No. The other way. Thank you. I was just getting this plug. Yeah. Healing is the application of loving to the parts inside that hurt. Healing. Oh, that the universe or God is synonymous with love. We reside in a space of loving. We all reside in loving. Relationships, healing, disagreements, it stems from a desire for loving. Now, for many people, the word love brings up a whole lot of confusing things. So you could call it connection, you could call it something a little bit less in your face about it, but the truth is when any act that's been malicious has ever been done, it's usually based on a very deep love that wasn't either returned or had something that was missing with it. There's usually a missing associated with loving when communication and relationship breaks down, and when it comes together, there's a heightened level of connection, commitment, and loving. And appreciation and respect and honor, like compassion, all that, right? So that's the fundamentals of that training. Then I also have worked in corporate America for 20 years. I worked at Pixar Animation Studios. I was John Lasseter's assistant. I worked at George Lucas ILM making movies. I worked at TRW and Northrop Grumman, Military Defense and Space Technology. So needless to say, I have a lot of experience working with a lot of personalities in a lot of different areas. Why do I say that? Because my life, starting off as a little girl, began with a story of my father leaving a situation that was really difficult. When he was 14 years old, raised in Germany, from parents who really didn't want to have children, he decided that he no longer wanted to have parents. And so he, from 14 to 17, lived friend to friend to friend to friend, and at 17 came to the United States to make a life and to make a living. And what he learned, that in order to make a life and to make a living, required that you don't count on anybody ever. Now the problem with that for me as his daughter is that what he wanted me to learn was to rely on myself. It's a pretty positive thing, rely on yourself. But what I learned and what I walked away with and the angle that he slanted it was, you cannot rely on anybody. Now, it may sound similar. Rely on yourself, or you can't rely on anybody. But for me, it was like Venus and another universe. Not even in our planetary system. It was like, I can never, ever rely on anybody for anything, ever. Now, I want to ask you, if you can't rely on anyone ever, it's going to be really hard to have any kind of relationship with people. Would you agree?
Yes.
So, what am I going to do in my life to make sure that I don't rely on anybody?
Stick to yourself.
Stick to myself,
Stay
don't
there.
talk to myself. What'd you say? Okay, that's one side of it. What's the other side of it?
No communication.
Pardon me? Do everything myself. I'm going to get so good and be the best at everything so you can't even touch me. And I'm going to make sure that you know that you're wrong. No matter what, I'm right. So it must mean you're what?
Wrong.
Right. Doesn't really work so great in a marriage, I can tell you that. So Jan and I, this man in the front, my husband, he and I have been married for 13 years, but we've been together for 23 years.
Wow.
Jan didn't come from the kind of family that I came from. Jan came from a family where his mother and father wanted him more than themselves. He was the apple of their eye, as was his brother. He was the most important thing in their world. And they didn't teach him that you can't rely on anybody. They taught him you can rely on everyone and everything. The world is here for you. So now you can put the pieces together. He was wrong all the time, perfect for me. And he knew how to provide me with everything I ever needed. And I didn't need any of it. So what I had to learn is how to stop listening to the voice of my father in my head. And I had to pay attention long enough to recognize when the voice of my father was speaking to me. Because it had been so many years of the voice of my father in my head, I couldn't distinguish that it was the voice of my father anymore. It was my voice, and I knew I couldn't rely on anybody. In a business where you are relating to people and seeing people, what I had to do and what I had to overcome and the traumas that I've been through in my life to get here make a lot of sense to me now. But they didn't make any sense to me while I was going through them. But why I say it to you is, no matter how hard it's ever been, it was uniquely designed for you to become the best version of you and give away the gifts and skills you have by having learned to overcome whatever you had to overcome so that you could be the contribution that you're here to be. And in the programs that I teach, it's all about contribution. Everything in life comes down to contribution. When you have $0, you're looking for every opportunity to make money so that you can survive. Everything is about survival. When you start making massive amounts of money, more money than you can imagine, what you begin to do is look to help other people survive. The coin is not that different. It just flips from you wanting to be the one that is in need to the one that can provide. But you've got to know need in order to ever do the providing. You've got to know the need in order to ever do the providing. And whatever the level of need that you experienced in your life, is equal to the level of giving you're going to be giving in your life. You can count on yourself for that. So however hard it looked, you can thank yourself now, because today it's not that hard, hopefully, as it has ever been. And it's simply the lesson that's going to give you access to providing that for someone else someday. Whether it's just the awareness or whether it's the actual providing resources. You will be responsible for that, equal to or greater, most often greater, than the degree through which you had to go through it. Puts a little different spin on the way that you've been through your life, yes?
Yes.
Makes it a little bit more worth it, no matter how hard it was, yes?
Yes.
Even if it was the worst thing ever, and I can tell you that I have experienced the worst things ever, some of them, it was worth it. Because now who I get to be for people, who I get to see in people, who I get to acknowledge people for having gone through and what they get to endure to be their greatest self, I have access to that because I had to go through it. Because I got to go through it. Because I chose to go through it. And the most powerful experiences you can have is those that you once blamed for everything in your life that you've fully chosen and stepped into as the greatest gifts. Okay. So that tells you a little bit about me. Just a little bit. But when you come from a place of really wanting to rely on people, there's a huge learning curve when you've never done it in your life. And you begin to look for all the things that you can't rely on. My whole life was about finding evidence for why I couldn't rely on people. So then I had to shift my whole vision of the world and begin to look for all the ways in which I could rely on people. The fascinating thing is the more you see what you can rely on, the more you're given people to rely on. It's this beautiful thing. It's like it just starts getting handed to you. Like the more you see it, the more it gets revealed. It's not like it gets revealed because you reached a certain level. It's because you choose to see it more, and all of a sudden there's more of it. If I say to you, for the next week, I want you to see every single black car on the road. You now are going to see more black cars on the road for the next week. Just because your attention goes to it. Focus is a powerful, energetic tool that allows us to shift everything. Shift our perspectives, shift our energy, shift how we experience the world and how we impact it. So pay attention to what you're focusing on. Pay attention to what you're focusing on. So, 3 keys to successful leadership. And this is some of the work that we do in the next level. We do a lot of leadership development and leadership work. On the weekend, we had a celebration of the past year, like an end of the year celebration for Active World Team and above, kind of like tag team celebration. And in that celebration, Mark and Jill gave as gifts to the president's team a new book. It's called Tribal Leadership. Write it down. Tribal Leadership. In this book, Tribal Leadership, it talks about the phases and stages of what creates the kind of leaders we have on the planet. And what I love about this book is that it doesn't actually paint the picture from a perspective of what you're striving towards. For those of you who have ever read John Maxwell, it talks a lot energetically about what you want to take on more of. But in this book, it actually paints the picture of what's so, and you can choose at any given time where you want to land inside of the stages. It's amazing when you stop looking at things through where you want to be that you're not at yet, and instead see yourself for where you're at and see where you'd like to add on to be here, but that it's okay if you're not there all the time. When you all of a sudden have that level of permission, all of a sudden how you lead alters. Because it's not a striving for something you're not yet. It's acknowledging what you already are. And that's the key to all of the work that we do as Herbalife coaches, as business builders, as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, is to know that we have the resources we need at the level we have them that will serve the perfect people who we are going to be in contact with. See, we keep striving to be better and better and better so that we can get better and better and better people, have better and better relationships, be better and better at talking. But where you are right now today is perfect, so long as you acknowledge that where you are today is perfect and you're not going to be there forever. You're just not. You can't be there forever. You could try really, really hard to stay exactly where you are today. Tomorrow you won't be here. Sorry, that's just the way it goes. And the reason is because you hear people around you. You have 14 billion synapses a day getting marketing information. Billboards, streetlights, signs, cars, license plates, books, computers. It flashes by you in a moment and you don't know that you're seeing all of it. We live in a community and a society where the world does not exist from where we sit and what we see. We live in a world where we are a collective. Would you agree that if you're not at a workout, you still feel the people that are there? Yeah. Would you agree that if you're not at a presentation, you still cheer for the people that are doing the presentation to be successful? Yes. We are interconnected. The minute you walked in through that door, we are now interconnected. From now and for forever. Now, whether we interact our physical human bodies every day, well, that remains to be seen. But whether we know each other and now have an impact in each other's lives forever is up to you to recognize how much of it you have, how much of it you want, and how much of an impact you want to keep having. And we take it for granted. We don't realize that we could have a huge impact on someone's life because we actually shared something important to us. And so we question whether it was important enough or not. We don't share it, and then we don't give people the gift of who we are. So in the next level, we start seeing where are the blocks that you feel have told you can't share what you have to share. Where are the limitations that stop you from being the full expression of who you really are? So, 3 keys to successful leadership. Number 1, my perspective, MY, your perspective, my perspective, is not the perspective. It's just a perspective. And if you aren't attached to it as the perspective, you will have the opportunity for flexibility. When we have flexibility, we have the opportunity to learn and grow. When we are inflexible, we are temporarily disabled from being able to learn and grow because we aren't willing to see it any other way. Has anybody ever been inflexible? Perfect. Most of us think we've been inflexible with people, other people. But I would ask you tonight, write this question down for yourself. Where have I been inflexible with myself? Where have I been inflexible with myself? And what would it take for me to be more flexible? What would it take for me to be more flexible? And what would I receive with a newfound flexibility? What would you be open to? What would you hear differently? What would you see differently? Who would come to you now that you're more flexible? Who would you listen to differently in your life that you just don't want to hear it from because you're just a little bit more flexible? Number 2. I spoke about this a little bit earlier. Our view of life, write this down, our view of life is impacted by the lenses through which we see it, through which we see life. Our view of life is impacted by the lenses through which we see it. This is important because we have lenses that we've taken on throughout our life through different people who have impacted us or influenced us both in a very positive way, maybe our mother, maybe our father, maybe our teacher, maybe a grandparent, maybe a sibling, maybe a mentor, maybe a coach, someone who gave us tools, who got that warm, fuzzy feeling in our tummy when we think about them, those people that really had us cherish the moments, the stories, the experiences that they walked us through. And that lens, when we look through that lens at life, we often have like a softness to us. It tends to trigger more of the feminine side of us. It tends to trigger the part of us that cares for others, that cheers for others, that nurtures others. And we really relish in that. When we get to stand in that, we relish that moment, that time. But we often don't give ourselves permission to spend a lot of time there. You know, like we hold it precious for a second, and then we're off running again, doing all the stuff we need to do. And then we tend to have the lens of the person that was the most critical of us in our life. The person that told us we couldn't do something. The person that we deemed least believed in our ability for success. That reminds us of all the things about us we don't like. And all of these different perspectives became lenses through which we saw the world. And so we go into the world as coaches, as friends, as family, and we meet someone. And if anything about them, the way their head tilts, the way Cameron stands, the way that they smile, the way they don't smile, the way that they look at you, the way that their hair is, if anything reminds you of that person that you love, oh, well, then you're going to be the best of friends, and you're going to just have a great time, and you just can't wait to get to know them. And those are the people that you say, I've known you my whole life. I mean, like I met you yesterday, and I feel like I've known you forever. We must have been here before. And then you see those people who kind of look at you funny, who kind of remind you of that person that you felt looked you up and down and judged what you were wearing or how you were standing or who your friends were or what circle you were in. Ooh, and you just don't want to talk to them. It's like, oh God, do I have to be near them? What are they going to say about me? What are they going to do to me? And you're not talking about the person standing in front of you. You're talking about the person through whom you got that lens. But it becomes indistinguishable. We can't see that that's actually what we're doing. Instead, what we see is the person we don't want to talk to. And that's the rise of experiencing inflexibility. It comes from kind of like a time travel from the past, and all of a sudden, here it is right in front of us. But in that moment when you feel that funny feeling, sometimes you're right. Sometimes it's not a person to be interacting with. But what we need to learn is how to distinguish that. How to trust our intuition. How to trust our animal instinct. How to trust when we feel something and act on it too quickly. Or when we feel something and haven't acted on it quick enough. And in the next level, part of what I love to do is help people really heighten that awareness. Really turn the volume up on the voice that has caused you to make choices that weren't for your best good. I have to cough for a second. Must be true what I'm saying. It must be true. Thank you. Tam just said throat chakra. When we have something that comes up around our throat area, a chakra is an energy force in our body, an energy system. We have 7, or if you believe in them, 8 chakras, because there's one that's kind of above us. And if you have any time like a funky voice, or you can't speak, or you have a cough, notice it's gone right now. It's you not speaking a truth, or you not expressing something that needs to be said. So we'll uncover what that is in just a second. So our view of life is impacted by the lenses through which we see it. So I ask you, take heed to the lenses that you learned life through. And ask yourself, are they mine or are they someone else's? Are they my lenses or are they someone else's, and I can take them off and pick a whole new way to see the world? The crazy thing is we so often just were kind of like, when we were born, like given them, they were like someone put them on our face and we didn't know that they were put on our face. And so we walk around wondering what the lens is, but we don't even know that we have a lens on. And then we've like run into a wall and we didn't even know that the wall was there because the lens was like right there. And we didn't know that it was there. So when we can start distinguishing that the lenses aren't necessarily ours, then we can start looking at the world through a whole new set of eyes, a whole new set of experiences, a whole new set of flexibility, a whole new set of questions, and we can have a whole new experience of curiosity. Curiosity invites growth. Curiosity invites growth. So the more curious you are about life, again, the more flexibility you have. And the more flexibility you have, the greater your trust in yourself and others grows. And trust is the very thing that makes or breaks relationships. It fosters connection or it breaks it. Someone does one thing wrong, one thing, you don't trust them anymore, it takes years sometimes to build that back. They could do 1,000 things right, but that one thing that you told them they could never do, it's over. Trust is a key to building relationships. The key to successful leadership, number 3. Effective leadership requires some things. I made these up. They're not new. I made them up. But they work for me, so you can take them on and see whether or not they work for you too. Now, I made them up based on a lot of years of research experience, working with leaders, doing a lot of leadership work myself, facilitating workshops and classes and courses and so on. So don't take my word for it, like it's not my opinion about it, it's my research about it, but it's in my words. So number 1, effective leadership requires a clear definition of what leadership is to you. You can't just take someone else's definition and call it leadership. You can read a bunch of people's definitions of leadership, but then you've got to filter it. You've got to process it through your neurology, through your brain, through your heart, through your life experiences, through your future goals. You've got to process it in a way that will support what it is that you want to create. So when you think about leadership and you read a leadership book, there's going to be a lot of things in a leadership book that you're going to love, that you're going to want to embody, employ, try on, but it's not the only way. And there are going to be leadership qualities that are so unique to you, but if you don't implement them, then when you stand as a leader, someone in the room will notice. Someone will catch it, like, there's something more to this person. There's something they have to offer that they haven't yet shown. You each have that, and I challenge you to define what is the leader in you. What's the leader in you? How do you define yourself as a leader today? Because again, tomorrow's going to change. Because someone's going to say something to you, and you're going to have an opportunity to stand into a new way of being or a new conversation. You're going to have a choice to make, and all of a sudden, you're going to be called forward to be that leader. But what's your definition today? Number 2, an effective leader, it requires an understanding that there's not one way to lead. There's not one way. There's many ways. If there was only one way, then there would be only one person on the planet. One person. Not God, not spirit, not that. There would be only one person that would lead us all. We would only need one. Because there would be that way, and we'd all agree, and it would be great. But God didn't give us that opportunity. He didn't say there's one way. He gave us all different experiences, different lives, different lifetimes of experiences, trials, tribulations, challenges, struggles, things to overcome, so that we could each color leadership in a different way. So we could bring to leadership our own unique gift, the way we're here to bring it. What that does, as you can imagine, which is part of why I've spoken about that throughout the night tonight, is that it breeds trust. It creates flexibility, which then allows leaders to empower people and innovate. Because great leadership innovates, is never one way, and that's the only way, but continues to look for ways to enhance, to expand, to explore, to discover, to continue to be curious, to wonder what would be another level, what would be another realm of impact. If I'm an incredible speaker, maybe I'm not as good at listening. Maybe if I'm an incredible listener, I can develop how I hear people differently. Maybe if I'm really good at writing, I could spend a little bit more time reading. And each one of those things that I uncover about myself steps me into a new level, a new realm of being able to lead people to them. Because leadership is not about having people follow you. Leadership is having people trust them so they can do what they're here to do. So they can build people who are here to do what we're here to do. Number 3, effective leadership requires that you are growing. Because leadership is a growth process. And as I mentioned in the Tribal Leadership book, you have to learn the rules of each stage along the path. There's just some rules, some things to be aware of. Not right and wrong, just some boundaries, some things to reflect on before you graduate to the next level, to the next stage, to the next experience. You know, for years I asked myself, I got so frustrated. I was like, I am a lover. I love to love people. I love to help people see how great they are, to do what they're here to do, to make a difference. I love that. And anything I did, because I was right? Anything I did didn't produce that kind of a result. People thought that I was this or that I had an ego, that I was better than them. Well, I was. But it wasn't because I wanted to be better than them. It was because I took on my father's lens. I thought that's how I survived in life. And all I wanted to do was love people, but I didn't know how to get access to that. I didn't know how to get access. Because I only had the way I saw it. And I was so threatened by the fact that I would be hurt because I couldn't rely on anybody, that there was nowhere to deliver the love here. It didn't go in. So I kept trying to deliver it out here, and people were like, I'm not going to do that. Because it didn't go in here first. I didn't believe that I could love this person who couldn't rely on anybody, because it was so different than what I felt inside. Like inside, I knew I was here to help people. It started when I was 4 years old. I told my mom that I wanted to build a laser that would help my grandmother's eyes because she couldn't see, and ears because she couldn't hear. Like, I'm going to build a laser at 4. And then I took a long journey towards medical school. For many, many years I studied, I worked in hospitals, did internships at the age of 12 and 14 and 16, saw things that people never see in their life. Because I wanted to help people. But when I was doing that journey, it also came from the place of, I've got to prove to my dad that I'm lovable, because the only 4 things that people can do to be loved are to be a pilot, an MBA, a lawyer, or a doctor. That's it. Those are the 4 things. Then you can have love. Then you'll be good enough for your father, and he'll love you. I was very confused. But thank God, I was so confused. Because it caused me to be very curious. It caused me to be very curious about what it would be like if it wasn't the way it was. What would it be like if it wasn't the way I saw it? And I kept asking and asking and asking until I finally found the people that could give me a perspective that really landed for me differently than all the perspectives my father gave me. So find those people. You know, we stepped into Herbalife, and it's a community of people that believe in each other, that stand for each other, that connect with each other. Herbalife is an amazing place for us to show up, to give to people what we really are through the interactions, the expressions, whatever you create. And it's such a beautiful way to stand in the truth of who you are if you choose to use it that way. You know, we can call it nutrition company, but what it really is a company that allows you to be you. And it encourages the great parts of you to be even greater. So, If leadership is a growth process, then the journey is the rise in leadership, not the destination or the result. It's the rise. It's as you learn what you need to learn, take it to the next level, the next level, the next level. That gives you access to leadership. You never arrive fully cooked as a final leader. Leadership is a process for you to enjoy. So I'd like to invite up a few people to just share a little bit about their experience in the next level, so you get a sense of some people that have actually firsthand experienced the course. But before I do that, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about it. So tonight you do have an opportunity to register. When I'm all done here, I know there's going to be a team call at 8, but I'm going to be done in about 15 minutes, between 7:30 and 8, except for those of you who need to get ready for the call. You have a chance to register. Jan will help you with that. There's, as I mentioned, different levels. So next level 1 is for active supervisors and above. So anybody that's an active supervisor and above. And the reason that it's active supervisor and above is because at active supervisor level in our marketing plan, it's showing that you're committed to your business. At supervisor, you're learning how to build a business. At active supervisor, you've mastered something about yourself inside of the business, and you can have repetition inside your business. That's when I can start calling on you to stand for your accountability, your retention, your conversations, your communication. I can ask more from you. So it used to be open to everybody. But what I found was that the people that had the greatest results were the people that were active supervisor and above. And so we shifted to really support you on the journey at the time in the journey that made the most sense. So that's next level 1. In the bucket is the little handouts. If you don't mind grabbing those, that would be great so people can kind of see what's in the programs. That would be awesome. So in next level 2, it's kind of like the graduate program. You go from next level 1 where it's an 8-week program and it's on the phone. It's a 1-hour class every week. You have an accountability partner that you speak to every day for 15 minutes, 7 minutes back and forth to 10 minutes back and forth at the most. And that's intended to hold you accountable to the goals you say and the person you say you want to be, and to overcoming some of the obstacles that you say you want to overcome. We start identifying some of the obstacles that you have either identified or have been unidentified for you as to stops in your world. And in the next level 2, it's for active world team and above. And you can be in, like the process of your active world team. There's kind of a little gray area with this. It just depends on where you are inside of your business and the growth. But it's active world team and above. And it's really the beginning taste of, now that I've understood my Herbalife business, now that I understand accountability, now that I understand my relationships with people, how do I lead? How do I stand inside of leadership? And what is leadership for me? And we really work on, just like I invited you today, what's your definition? We really work on what is the definition and how are you implementing the definition on a daily basis? And how do you implement it when you doubt it? Because there are moments when we doubt our leadership. So how do we deal with that? Those questions that come up, those challenges, those limiting beliefs that we have, those feelings of self-doubt or questioning our worth. So that's really what we have available. And then there's also a next level 3 and an academy, and those courses, the next level 3 is a 12-week course, and then the academy is a 6-month program where it really invites people to take a whole project on, to step inside of a result that they want to achieve that really shows them a lot about who they are, teaches them how to break through all sorts of things that would otherwise stop them from going after something that they want in their life. And it becomes applicable for all areas of life. So you will have an opportunity to register, but before you do that, I think it's really important that you hear from people that have experienced some of what the next level has to offer. So the first person that I'd love to invite up is Nicole Lakin. Let's give her a big round of applause.
So next month is my 2-year anniversary with meeting Monika Zanda and being a part of the next level. So we were a part of the very first group of the next level, February 2012. And yeah, we were the guinea pigs. So it was very scary, like Mark Addy's like, hey, come down and come to this class. We got this girl coming, and it was, I mean, it's the same structure and everything that she was going through, and obviously you didn't get to hear from people who already did it. And it was, for me, all my mind kept going to was the money. So instantly, I'm like, everything was limited in my life as far as the money that I had, the things that I can do. I had just hit supervisor, and I had the opportunity to do the next level. And, you know, instantly, I think I was coached that night too. I was putting a lot of my burdens from my parents onto me, and I thought that I needed to do Herbalife in order to wake them up, give them a house, give them certain things. And so she was already in that class teaching me that I had to sort of break free from that and see what I had to give as a gift to the world, really, without all that other stuff going on. And I left that night, and I really wanted to do it. And I ended up talking to Mark and one of my mentors, going back and forth about it and everything. And he said, just give her a call. Just talk to her. And I was like, she would actually answer my call. And he's like, just shoot her a text, set up a time. And she ended up leaving me a message because we were, you know, kind of playing phone tag. And I still have the message because it was very powerful. And the way that she showed me a new perspective, I'm so thankful that I was open to it. She showed me this whole new perspective, and I listen to it sometimes. And I just, hearing her voice on that voicemail, I knew that this was for me. I knew that it was my next step. Called her back, I paid the money, and it instantly started right then and there. And she told me that it would begin, that, okay, now it starts for you. And I actually started to see signs and see different things, giving me these signs that this is where I'm supposed to be. So that was sort of the beginning. It already opened up my mind. And then it was my first month supervisor, and I like to be a great student. So, I mean, I took on the calls early. You know, one of the very first things she had us do was set an intention for the day. And in the past, I did not like people. I didn't want to be around people. I would have very negative mood swings up and down like crazy. And I said, well, if Herbalife is for me, how in the world am I going to build a business in Herbalife when it's a people business? So one of my very first intentions, I still remember it every day. I probably said it to myself like 20 times. Whenever I would feel something inside of me, or someone would cut me off, or I was, you know, trying to get a new client or things like that, I would set myself up with power, and I would say, it is my intention to bring light and positivity to every single person in the situation that I'm in. And I had to say to myself like 1,000 times a day to just get through the day, just to teach myself a different lens to see through, because I was a very angry person. I ended up doing over 10,000 volume points my first month that month, just hearing her perspectives and learning how to schedule my days. I scheduled every single day to a T, held myself accountable with my accountability partner as well. Setting intentions, I've only really used that intention, and I still do sometimes, it just carries me through. And you know, for almost 2 years, I've done over 10,000 volume points, and I truly believe that first beginning part, because I gave my all, set up my life and my business. And going into the next level 1, I mean the next level 2 and next level 3, it taught me how to be more of an authentic person. Speaking in front of people, getting very uncomfortable, like, you know, one time I'm like going crazy and goofy in front of the room, and I felt so funny doing different things, but then the way that my team gave me feedback was like, wow, you were so much more powerful because you didn't have all these like crazy guards going up and things like that. So, I mean, the way that my business has grown and just my life, she's helped me with my personal life as well. I've worked on a lot of stuff with my relationship. I was very similar to Monika, to where I thought if you weren't doing something my way, you were wrong. And I made people feel that way, especially, you know, my partner, my boyfriend, Anthony. I mean, it's just been amazing. Like, it's taken me to a whole new level, and ever since that day that I met her, it opened me up to the world of possibilities. Also as a leader, I never really saw myself as a leader or saw that I really could be a leader. So it was small, like, shifting things. Like, she would teach me something that week, because she'll go, like, on the call, she'll go over a lesson of the week, let's say. And I would take on like one thing that stood out to me the most, and I would take that on for the week, and I would just focus on that. And that focus, like 7 times, you know, like 7 days out of the week, like that type of focus shifted little things in my life and truly transformed me as a person. And then next level 3, you get to be with her in person, sitting at the table with her in person, so you can't hide from anything. So being in that situation was really great as well. And again, taking on new focuses every single week. And I would implement it right then and there. Like I suggest that as soon as you get off the call with Monika and with the team, you just start like doing things, like start shifting yourself and start doing different things in order to sort of see how you can mold and create yourself. Because that's what it took for me to change a lot of things that were just not working. And I think that's about it.
Jason, you can come up, please. Thank you. Give her a round of
How you guys doing? My name is Jason Source. I always gotta introduce myself. But you know, the first next level, I was hesitant. You know, I was like, yeah. The first one, I was hesitant because I was like, okay, why do I need this? You know, I was in a state where it's like, I know what to do. I seen Style do it. I'm gonna go do it. You know, so I had a wall up. You know, I had a wall up, but I think I had a conversation with her. I bumped into her one day at the club. It was just like fate. She called me. I looked at the call, walked outside. She's right there, like, oh hey, how's it going? But how did she know? But you know, I started the class, and next level 1 really was impactful for me because it made me more punctual. You know, because we have to be on the call at that certain time where you have to do a penalty or something, and I didn't want to do that. So it created a habit, created a punctual habit. And I remember the next level 1, I went to active world team after next level 1. So it taught me how to do invites. It taught me like really a structure. And so I had an accountability partner. I learned how to really like nurture you in your business along the way. You know, so next level 1 is like, I recommend it for everyone. If you can, just do it. Like, I was hesitant. I'm the main one, like, I don't need that, I'm out of here. But I'm so grateful that I took next level 1 because it kind of just grew my business and myself, me the biggest person. My accountability partner, we still talk to this day, like we still do invites because you're building an outside relationship outside of us, you know? And that's what this business is about, building relationships with other people. I didn't really know him at the time, but now we're like best friends, you know? And we still build at the same time, so it's making more relationships. And so it was really impactful for next level 1 on doing invites. And so when next level 2 came up, I was hesitant again. I was like, I don't need that, I already took number 1. But I was like, now 1, 2, what's the difference? And so I signed up again. And next level 2, I had another accountability partner, and it kind of had me open up more. You know, at that time, I was just like, I'm gonna do everything to myself, no matter what, I'm gonna go, but it really helped me open up. And next level 2, I hit my first Gonna Get team. So it kind of helped me grow, and we have this accountability partner at the same time, and I don't know, how do you partner them up so perfect?
Oh, it's a secret?
She partners somebody up with you that it's the perfect person. Like they help, like your strength is their weakness and their weakness is your strength. So you grow unconsciously with them. I'm like, how does she do this? You know? It's like that Monika Zanda GUS. You'll learn. But it helped me open up and really grow as a unit. And this accountability partner I had at the time, I don't know, it's just like, it made me work on things I need to work on still to this day. And I love it because it was just a transition. It's like an evolution, like from next level 1 to next level 2. And then when 3 came up, I was still hesitant. Like, I still said no, you know? But I took it, and next level 3 was a game changer. And the reason why, like, it's all next level advancement, so it was all tap team, I believe. Next level 3 is all tap team, and you're in the room with her. So there's no, like, you're in this class, you're focused. On the other two, I was sometimes focused, I sometimes wasn't, to be honest. But here, you're 100% focused. And Jill Addy was in our class at the same time. So now just the level of just where you have to hold yourself is on a whole nother caliber to where you have to show up. Like, you cannot. And that's being on time. That's being, like, we had assignments that we had to do. But at the same time, it's like I was building a relationship with some of the top people in this business, and I learned still today from really how they grew and how we grow together. And it's still, to this day, you know, it's still relationships. I can't stress more about the relationship because I came into this business by myself, thinking I was going to do everything. And with this next level 1, 2, and 3, it's shown me that we need each other. We need to build alongside, and without being open to and having these satellite relationships, that you're going to plateau. You know, and I was at a point in my life where it was like I was plateauing and I don't know what to do. I said, I'm just going to work harder. Oh, and next level 3 taught me how to take a break. You know, the way I was working my business at the current time, it didn't have longevity. It was like burning a candle at both ends of the stick. And next level 3 taught me how to take a break. So now I have a Friday, we picked a day where I just relax and still do my business, but still time for myself. And that gave my business a lifetime as to temporary. So it was a shift from my life because now I can see myself doing this forever. As to before, it's like, damn, I'm gonna go until I don't know when. You know, so now I have longevity. I take a break now. And I can really appreciate like a lot of little things, you know, that doing this business can allow you to create, like spend more time with my mother. And I can just, now I get it, you know. I still don't get it. Still don't get it. But I'm more understanding of people. Like I thought I was a people person, and I thought I listened, but now I'm more open to listening because of the evolution. And this created a lifetime for me, as to a temporary standpoint.
Hey guys, so next level I began about a year ago. It was last January. I jumped into the next level 1. Everything happened really fast with me in Herbalife. So I began April of 2012, and by the time January came around, I was hitting my final cut of global expansion team that month. So I was kind of thrown into next level 1, and Monika was like, okay, you know, this is for people who just hit active supervisor coming in, and she was like, you know, just take the calls for what they are. And you know, I was kind of going in, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a breeze, you know, like with a little bit of an ego. And there's like a lesson in that because first of all, I was getting on these calls and it was just mind blowing. It doesn't matter. I'm still a baby in the business and I have so much to learn. So I really humbled myself. And I took the information and you know, really got grounded in exactly what you've heard Jason say, punctuality, setting an intention, learning the power of intention. And when you really put that, that focus, you shift your focus, it's, they say where focus goes, energy flows, yeah, and so I just learned how to possess and harness my power a little bit more. And so what was interesting is through Next Level 1, because it was a couple months, I ended up going into Millionaire Team. And I truly believe, because everything happened for me very, very quickly in my team, you know, it was about me a little bit. When you go from being brand new to all of a sudden into Get and then plunging into Millionaire Team and having an organization that does over 80,000, there needs to be a shift and a transition as to who you are as a leader. And how you treat your team is, you know, it was kind of like a little bit, when I'm at World Team, it was about me and what I was doing. And Next Level geared me and it walked me through having those shifts as far as how to step up as a leader to be able to support that team that was going. And it really helped me, it helped me be able to support that team, and I'm truly grateful. So I ended up over the summer joining the Next Level 3, and now I'm currently in the academy, which is great. It's been a couple months now, and yeah, so going into Next Level 3 was awesome. I was fully qualified millionaire team, and really Next Level for me has really helped me trust myself, because a lot of the time, coming from a place, I didn't want to get in front of the room when I first came into Herbalife. I was scared. I was scared to tell my story. If I knew that they wanted to hear people's story, I would leave the room and I would wait till they collected all the stories and people to volunteer then I would come back in. And I was that person. And then, but there was a part of me, there was a tug as far as like, I kind of want to be that person in front of the room. There's a curiosity factor, and I wanted to grow into someone that was a powerful public speaker. And what I began to learn through having one-on-ones with Monika is that I really wasn't trusting that I had the information to deliver inside of me. Like I needed to connect with me and realize that it's already inside me. And so through the Next Level, I've learned to trust myself, and I've learned to deliver from my heart. And so when that was a huge game changer, because I used to just sit and prep for hours thinking I need to go out and find the information somewhere to deliver to the room, when really I needed to just look inside and feel like, Celeste, like you are a millionaire team. You have experience to give them. It's inside you. You already have this experience. Now just share it from your heart. And that's really what Next Level has given me, is that trust for myself that I have everything already. So that's super powerful, and being in the academy is huge, because it's at a point now where it's like a think tank, because we're at Monika's house, and I'm sitting around some of the most powerful leaders within Herbalife. Like everyone at this table is going to Chairman's Club and beyond. So it's literally practice for when I'm going to be in powerful situations, and when I'm going to be, in high leadership situations in Herbalife, of being able to hold up a certain level and tier of conversation when I really am sitting at a table full of Chairman's Club members. It's literally practice for that. So it's powerful. And everything, the process of beginning in Next Level 1, then there's Next Level 2, 3, and Academy. Each Next Level program sets you up for the next one, and it sets you up through pin changes. So when I enrolled into Next Level 1, I believe when I signed up, I was active world team. I hadn't hit Get Team yet. I was in global expansion team cuts. And now I'm high millionaire team, so meaning your organization does over 150,000 a month. So it's literally each Next Level program has walked me through and empowered me through my pin changes. And it's been really powerful, and especially whether you move at a fast pace in the business or not, there's value to be added in that, because it prepares you for where you need to go, or where your literally the pin changes that are about to happen for you. And so I'm just very grateful to you, Monika, because I've been able to grant and get access to my own power to be able to really help other people, clients, coaches, gain access to their own power, which is really important with connecting with people, right? And so, I'm in Academy still. We go tomorrow. I'll be at Monika's house. And it's completely changed my life. It's changed my perspective on the world, the lenses in which we choose to view the world. And so, that's what I have for you guys. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Denise. So my first Next Level class was the beginning of last year, so it's been 1 year, January of 2013. And I had just fully qualified Get Team, but there were still so many things that I didn't know about the business because I moved up like so fast. So I thought that the Next Level was just, everybody was talking about it, and I kind of looked at it like Nicole, like it was just something else that you had to pay for. And so I was kind of like, I don't really know, but I just kind of went for it. I was instantly uncomfortable with the accountability partners. because I had the belief where if you want something done right, do it yourself. So I didn't need a partner. I used to hate group projects in school. Anything I had to do with somebody else, I just didn't like it. I didn't want to be responsible for anybody else's like actions or what they were and weren't going to do. But what I learned through the accountability calls and the partners was that it's so much fun to like when you're helping somebody else and you're learning through that, when you're helping them with their struggles or they're talking to you about their insecurities, and then you realize, wow, we got some of the same insecurities. Like I'm not by myself, I'm not the only one scared to talk to people, I'm not the only one afraid of doing high volume and all this kind of stuff. So that was really what I got out of the first next level course, was just kind of opening up and allowing to really work with somebody and allowing them to help me. So before I started that class, I had did roughly around like 5,000 volume points was like usually my average, and that was the first month that I ever did 10K. So it was my first month in her class. I just completely, something just like opened up in me, and I had never ever thought that I would be able to do that. Never. Like an active world team was like the only pin that I like died for. Like I wanted that because I knew you had to do 10K, and if you did 10K, like that means you're really working, you're giving it your all, and I just really didn't think I was going to be able to do it. So that was the intention that I set for the month, and I knew that I was going into the class, and like that's just what I set for myself. Like I'm doing 10,000 volume points, don't know how, but I'm not going to worry about that, and that's exactly what happened. And then the following month I did 13,000. So it just, and I owe it all to Monika's class and just what she's taught us. Not only does she teach you how to, become a better version of yourself, to deal with certain things that you may have avoided dealing with before because they're painful or you just don't want to think about it again, she also teaches you how to run a business, which is exactly what we're doing here in Herbalife, right? So not only are you learning things about yourself, but you're also learning how to be a CEO. And for somebody like me who had a degree in sociology and minor in psychology, I know nothing about running a business. I don't know anything about dealing with different personalities or, finances or tracking numbers to, keep track of your progress. So that was something that I found was very valuable. Like the way she teaches you how to track your business so you know exactly what you should be doing. If you're doing too little, to do more. Like the only way to tell if you're growing is to track the progress. And so that was like the most valuable thing that I had gotten out of the next level 1. And then I skipped next level 2 and went into 3 because I was a millionaire teen. And that was like really different because it was at Monika's house, so you have to show up, you cannot hide. So it was a whole different level of like accountability and me learning how to stay true to my word. Because before next level 3, I didn't really care too much about like my word. Like if you really think about it, like all you really have to offer somebody like is your word. If you say you're gonna do something, then you should just do it. But I would gotten so used to saying I was going to do something and then not do it and didn't even bother me, And then so it kind of had me really evaluate myself and what I thought of myself. Like clearly I didn't value my own word, So giving it to somebody else didn't really matter to me. I'll tell you that I'm going to do something and I'm not going to do it. Didn't matter. So the accountability and like having to be there on time, having to show up, having to answer questions, having to participate. There's no sitting in the back, not raising your hand. Like you're in the front row every class with a group of people that are similar to you and different. So there's all different kinds of, like even when she's not working with you physically, you're going to learn something through her interaction with somebody else. And that's what I just love, listening to Monika teach and listening to her talk. Because even if she's not talking to you, even if whatever she's saying you can't relate to, you're going to learn something. So throughout my next level 3, I qualified for VIP at Extravaganza, which was a big goal for me. I qualified for Herbalife Honors, which is 150,000 organizational points, so I'll be going to Hawaii. I qualified for the Dominican Republic. Like all of this during this class, like during her course alone. And I know that I've learned the absolute most from Monika Zanda. It's like everything that I've learned since taking her classes, whether it was about me or about learning how to take care of a business. Because everybody signs up and you pay your $68 and then instantly you're a business owner. You instantly have something that belongs to you and you can create it, you can make it grow, and you can make it be a really big business or a small business. You can do it part-time, you can do it full-time. So like instantly as you fill out that application, you have now inherited your own business. Of course, Herbalife helps us with that. But for me and for a lot of us, I know that you just don't know. If you've never had a business and you never ran a business, you don't know how. You know, and so she taught me that class, and then everybody in the class with me also was a part of my journey and my growing and my learning, because I learned through them. Like Celeste was in the next level 3, Jason. So I got to learn through them and through certain things that they may be dealing with that I really wasn't aware of. So all together, each course, whether it's 1 all the way through Academy, which I am going into, I'm on my 3rd next level 3 class. So I took 1, and then I skipped 2, and I took 3, and I'm gonna take 3 again, and then I'm going into Academy. So I'm doing them all. So if you want to grow as a person, as well as grow your business, make money, create dreams and financial freedom for yourself, you can get all of that in the next level class, and it's set up perfectly so you will be at the right class at the right time. You won't feel rushed, you won't feel overwhelmed. That's what the next level 1 is for. It's much different than next level 3, but it's all going to just set you up powerfully to get everything you need from the class. So that's
So we are at 7:42. So Jan is going to hand out some handouts. There's not enough for everybody, so just hand them out and skip a person. And on that, you can take your own time. That is your registration form. It tells you next level 1, what's in the program and what you can expect in kind of bullet points. It tells you next level 2. The way that it works pricing-wise, next level 1 is $300. Registering tonight, you can put $150 towards your registration. Class starts the 2nd week of February, so as long as you pay before the class begins, the second $150, then you're good to go. Next level 2 is $500, so if you put a deposit down tonight for $250, again, you can pay the rest by the 2nd week of February and you're good to go. If you have questions, the thing that's most important to me is that you don't leave not making a choice. We started off tonight about choosing. As Nicole shared, the minute you register for this program, crazy stuff starts happening. Why? Because I'm holding for the entire org. You're going to learn what holding for an org and holding for people means, but intention setting is not just you making a declaration into the world and then hoping something happens. It's setting something into motion and then calling towards you all the resources that you don't recognize you have, or calling forward the things that you have already that now can be used and putting them into action. The next level is designed to meet you where you're at. You don't have to be better, you don't have to be smarter, you don't have to be ready. I meet you where you're at, and whatever you get out of the next level 1 is a stepping stone for what you need to get to the next level. The level that you're at right now is the right level. When all of you think, I want to get here in the marketing plan, I want to get here in my life, this is my long-term dream, that is a very important thing that keeps you going. But if you only look at what you aren't yet, you don't celebrate and appreciate where you are, which someone else isn't yet. And that's the gift you have to give to people. So don't rush through where you're at, because where you're at is what you need to learn to get to where you're going. And the more you appreciate where you're at, the more ease you'll bring to yourself to master those things that will cause ease to the next level. And that's another big principle that we learn in the next level course itself. So to begin with, I want to thank you, each of you, for being here, for coming on a Monday night, for knowing that there was traffic and all the things that you came from, all the stuff you left at the door. If you were able to do that, you can go back and find it when you leave tonight, or you can choose to start looking from a new perspective tonight. What was something tonight that showed you something about yourself you haven't yet cultivated? And I challenge you to cultivate it. And I also challenge you to look at the person sitting next to you and have them see you. Don't just look at them, have them see you. Look right now at the person sitting next to you and let them see you. Let them see you. Because the person sitting next to you may be the access to the very things you're looking for in your life. You don't know who's sitting next to you until you let people in. So here's the opportunity for you to really look at what do you want to do in your life. Okay, bring your attention back forward. What do you want to do in your life? What do you want to do in your business? And do you have the tools to do it now? Or would the next level program help you to get there? Would it help you to get there faster? Would it help you to get there clearer? Would it help you to get there easier? Whatever it is for you, just be really clear. And if it's not perfect, but be really clear before you leave tonight, what is going to get you there? What is the support that you're going to have? Whether the next level is now or later, perfect. What I ask you to do is not be on the fence about whether or not you're going to participate or not. Get really clear tonight. What is it that's going to help me? What you leave with tonight. It may be all you need to start growing what you haven't been growing yet. And that's perfect. But just get really clear. So just jot down on your registration form. If you're ready to register, you can go to Jan in the back. And otherwise, just take a moment before you get up and write down in your notebook, what is it that you're going to take away tonight that's going to have a difference in your business? It's going to make an impact. So I want to thank you guys so much. You can write it in just a second. I want to thank you guys so much. I want to thank you, Style. I want to thank you, Celeste. Thank you, Jason, for sharing. Thank you, Nicole. And thank you, Denise, for sharing. And thank you all for just saying yes to the invitation, for having me here, and for having the next level and what it brings to everybody be a part of this conversation. I really appreciate it. Let's give everybody participating and watching. Thank you so much. And if you have questions, please definitely email me or text me. You can find all of that information. Celeste will post that for you. So get ready for your 8 p.m. call, everybody. Thank you.
Pleasure. Yeah, me too.